out there, YouTube?
What's up out there, everyone?
This is SCL 0320.
And this is Joe Johnson 030.
So it may look like we're kind of looking up at you. The reason is because we literally are. Like the camera is up in the high rise. There's no green screen behind us. We are in the new apartment. It's pretty dope. Like, blesses the God for that.
For sure.
There's a couple things we want to talk about today, but one of the main things we want to talk about, because we didn't review it last week, we looked at it on Wednesday of last week, was The Legend of Tarzan. Because we actually really enjoyed it. Well, for me, I can't speak, because we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it at all. Since we left the theater, we never talked about how we felt about the movie. But me personally, I did actually enjoy it. So I was like, we really should review it, you know what I'm saying? So this is going to be an authentic review. We're going to go on as far as the visuals, as far as the cinematics, as far as the soundtrack, the acting, and then the progression of the story. I mean, off the bat, I'll definitely say I think this is a really interesting, compelling story of Tarzan. It's a different take. If any of y'all are fans of like this version right here, which is like the Disney version, which is really dramatified, you know what I'm saying? But it's a classic in and of its own right. This kind of plays homage to that, but it keeps to the book as well, because it extends the story to certain extents that I didn't think they were going to go with it. But Joe, what was your kind of feeling coming out of the movie in general?
Oh man, it was definitely an entertaining movie.
Yeah,
definitely entertaining movie. Yeah, it had great action.
Yeah, it did.
CG was really good.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good segue.
The story was pretty good. Although I felt like the story, it kind of had some cliches to it.
It did.
But as far as overall the movie, how I felt afterwards leaving the theater, I felt entertained. I was like, I didn't feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah.
By any means. A good film. Yeah. So I would say, and I'm saying, didn't change my perspective or my scope on anything on a much deeper level, but it was an entertaining film. To say the least.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. Like I really felt coming out of it, I was like, man, I wouldn't mind seeing another one of these. Just the way that they have the dynamics of the characters, Jane and Tarzan. Which Margot Robbie plays Jane, Clayton, and then Tarzan plays what is his character's name though? It's John Clayton as he's playing, but he's playing Tarzan, and the actor's name is Alexander Skarsgård. If y'all know True Blood, he was in that initially, and then Margot Robbie, she's about to be in Suicide Squad. But I guess let's go and take a step back for a second, because we gave y'all a brief overview of what we thought about the film. I'm interested to see another one. But as far as the visuals is concerned, and as far as the way they actually did the visual effects, I think they did a great job. A lot of the aerial sequences and a lot of seeing him like swinging and going through the trees, it was really seamless. I think they didn't have any issues for me personally with the action moments. Even like the hand-to-hand combat stuff. When I actually saw like how big like Alexander Skarsgård was as Tarzan, I was like, dude, I'd be intimidated of this cat. Like even just the way his knuckles were like lined up, and when he would actually get into physical altercations, and the way they actually did the choreography, I think they did a really, really good job as far as that. But specifically the CG. Another thing that was notable for me was the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was actually really elegant. I think it was really fitting. It's weird because, like Joe said, there were certain moments in the movie where it's kind of like really cheesy and kind of took you out of that epic moment, but then it'll bring you back, and then it's like, that's why I guess it's a really entertaining film more so than a compelling one. It draws that line. But what did you think about, I guess, the visual effects and the acting? What did you think?
Yeah, the visual effects were great. Visual effects were great. So I mean, they have a lot of different. I mean, I really enjoyed like how they did the CG for the gorillas.
Yeah.
Cause I mean that was a really cool.
It seemed real sometimes. That
perspective of him actually. I think the way they portrayed Tarzan growing up in like a family of gorillas was way more realistic
than they've ever done it.
Take than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, yo, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Some craziness.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about this movie. Like there are moments where like it takes you to this comedic side with Samuel Jackson's character, which is a good segue into the acting, which he adds on to the movie. If he wouldn't been there, there's a lot of dark tone things that are happening in the movie, like destructive things, death, and it's like, oh my gosh, like what happened to Tarzan? What is his backstory that brings him to this place that we see him now? And I think that journey, that's just really acted really well from Alexander Skarsgård. I think that he embodied Tarzan to the fullest that anybody I think has really done it. Because I was like, they could have easily made this like a George of the Jungle. You know what I'm saying? Like it could have been real freaking cheesy. And I mean, every moment that he was in it, it didn't make it cheesy. And that's for me, I think that's a plus. Now, other characters, like I said, Samuel Jackson, kind of takes you away from that. And then you got like the other tribesmen that are working with Samuel Jackson and even like Tarzan. And I thought, even though they were all muscular and built, I was like, I don't know, I was like, you got a whole linebacker squad just like moving with these. I was like, where did these guys come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of like took me out, but I was like appreciative that they were at least there. Because it was a lot of different situations where I was like, okay, how is he going to get out of this? And it's like, okay, he got his posse, he got help. But I think that where it goes back full circle for me is the animals. Like a lot of the animals and the way he communicates with them and the way he actually interacts with them. These animals aren't existing. They're not there. And same thing happened when we looked at Jungle Book. We were like, how does this little boy, act so well off of nothing? And I think that Alexander does a good job with that. Even Margot Robbie, I think that she did a pretty decent job. Did anybody else's acting like kind of stand out for you?
No, not really. Not particularly.
Yeah.
Not particularly. But I would say the villain.
Oh, Christoph Waltz.
Nah, the other guy.
Oh, the gentleman from Amistad and Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
The chief.
I felt like the chief. I felt like his part in the movie was probably the most cliche to me. When you find out like everything that's with his character.
Yeah.
I feel like to me I was like, oh, this is they just put this here. Mm-hmm. Like that's like, kind of like the least thought out character I felt like was his character. Yeah. But that's not to say he didn't act as well, his part well, but it's just, I just think his character wasn't thought out well.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary for the scope of the story other than as a plot device. And that's the thing, like, it's a hit or miss because it plays into Tarzan's backstory. Like, I mean, his connection to this chief is very pivotal to why he's not in the jungle anymore, which is really good, but then it's kind of like shoehorned in really fast within this one cutback, and I think that does deteriorate like the significance of the chief versus like, okay, let this character kind of be in the backfold until a later time maybe. I don't know. But Christoph Waltz's character, I don't know. He was kind of more cliche for me than the chief, because the things that he would do, I was like, man, he could have just killed this person, real talk, and just done it. Like, there was a moment where I saw him like carry around his rosary and he'd just be murking cats with. I'm like, yo, are you like SAS? Like, what is your training? Like, who are you? That's the thing, I didn't know much about his character. I knew he was a bad A, and I knew he knew what he wanted, but his reasonings behind it was just so trivial that it wasn't making him an impactful villain. And I think he was one of the things that kind of deteriorated for me. But in terms of the story, I thought it was really compelling. I thought the tone was really good. When you actually see Tarzan get in the fight, it's actually believable. Specifically when you see him get in the fight with one of the gorillas. Like, I was...
Yeah.
I was like... I was thinking to myself when I saw the preview, I was like, what's he doing swinging at a gorilla and thinking he gonna live? Like, when you see the fight, you'll understand, like, it doesn't go down that easy for this man. Like, he gets trampled on a couple times.
I mean... Yeah.
I don't know, but all in all for me, I thought the tone was actually pretty well placed. I thought that it was really compelling in certain moments, and it was very entertaining. If I couldn't say anything else, it was very entertaining for me. I really enjoyed the film. I'll wait for Joe to give his final comments, and then we'll go ahead and give it a number.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, I like how they did Tarzan's character and the story they told about his character.
Yeah.
Some of the other characters kind of just, for me, were just kind of just help support Tarzan, which is Yeah, some of the other characters are just like I don't really care for it, but the way they did Tarzan was really good.
That dude was huge, yo.
Yeah, they put a lot of thought. I thought they put a lot of thought into Tarzan, and it's like oh wow, this character is really good. But it's like some of the other characters is just like cut and paste. I felt like you're just like, all right, we need someone to fill this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot. All right, you guys do whatever. Tarzan, like you know.
Yeah.
So I'll give this movie. I would give it an 8. Maybe a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I was actually we're almost right the same. Like I was thinking an 8 out of 10 or a 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.8. Just because I think that it was really interesting film. I actually was really entertained by it. Like I mean, for the fact that we remember all this since Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? Like we've had a lot of stuff going on since then. So if it's been stayed in our minds, then it definitely is worth meriting at least a 7.8 for me. And definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, that's all we got. This is JVS. We ain't gonna stop. Hope y'all enjoyed our review for The Legend of Tarzan. Peace, everybody. Wait, let's promote.